Hello and welcome back to Dukascopy TV HQ. I'm Natalie MacDonald. Joining us for the first of a two-part interview is Julien Schaerer of Antiquorum. Julien, thank you very much for coming in today. And what have you brought us today?
Well, today I've brought you probably the ultimate Patek Philippe wristwatch, the most complicated Patek Philippe ever produced, the Sky Moon Tourbillon, which happens to be really for every collector or every watch amateur, I would say the ultimate possible watch. And we were lucky to have auctioned this one off yesterday, which was a different one than all the other one, as it was a custom ordered piece this time.
Now, we'll come on to the customization shortly, but I understand, so this watch it's got 2 dials, it's got 12 complications. Now, for those of us not so familiar, what exactly is a complication and what are the 12 complications or even just 1 or 2 that this watch has?
Right. I mean, obviously, basically it has everything that you can possibly put in a wristwatch, almost, in the sense it tells time, it's a perpetual calendar, it's got a retrograde date, it's a minute repeater, it's a tourbillon, and then on top of that it has a celestial chart, which I'll show you on the other side of the watch as well. So I think every possible function that you would want to have in the watch, this one has it, and it's a real marvel of technology that Patek Philippe was able to condense all this together in really what is a small case, considering the amount of complication that it actually has.
You mentioned the customization. What is it about this watch that is different then?
If you look at a regular 5002, which is the reference of this watch, it usually has some Calatrava crosses on the side of the case, and it's rather a smooth case all around. I guess the customer wanted to give it a little bit more importance by asking Patek to create something special and unique for him, and they created this kind of ridged case on the side, which is found in obviously no other watches that they made.
And so that's going to be the attraction of this, that it's unique, that it's special, that it's different. How regularly do we see sort of a customized piece actually in auction?
You don't actually see them that much, and the reason is obviously the clients that have a close relationship with Patek Philippe, usually when they ask Patek Philippe to do these kind of creations, they usually want to stay in good standing with the company. So it's actually quite rare that you find these pieces that reappear on the market, because they usually keep them. And funnily enough, and it might seem a little cliche, but the advertising campaign for Patek Philippe very well. It's something that you own, that's to be passed down to the future generations. And I think in most cases of the real Patek Philippe collectors, they actually do keep their watches in their collection for them, for their kids, or for their grandkids. So they don't appear that often. And this is actually the first time that a customized Sky Moon Tourbillon has ever appeared at auction.
So is this something that is going to sit in a cupboard and not be worn, or do owners of Patek Philippe watches actually wear them and use them in sort of everyday circumstance?
I think it really depends on kind of the personality of the collector themselves. I mean, we have really both scenarios. Collectors that never wear their watches and just leave them in the safe and look at them from time to time just for the pleasure of ownership. And you do have some people that wear them. Obviously, it's not such a discreet watch, and it's a liability to be wearing around a 1.2 million watch on your wrist. But I have had some clients come in my office wearing those watches, and that do wear them on an everyday basis. Or if you go to a special event or a special dinner, you can always wear that, and I think you'll always be the subject of conversation, I think.
Patek Philippe is a watchmaker that is world renowned and has been for many years. Are there collectors that look specifically to build up their Patek Philippe collections, or is it just one that they will have across a variety of different brands?
Well, once again, it depends on the collectors, I would say, but you will find that collectors that tend to gravitate towards Patek Philippe like the heritage of the company, like obviously the quality and what it means to them, being obviously in a private ownership, which is quite rare in today's watch manufacturers, to have all the heritage. Obviously the Patek Philippe Museum, as you know, is part of that heritage and that image that they cultivate. And a lot of the collectors that have Patek Philippe, they usually tend to have many Patek Philippe, and because of the quality and the style, they usually tend to stick with that. They might have a few, of course, on the sides, but the majority part of their collection will still remain with Patek Philippe.
This watch came from your Geneva auction, but for watch collectors, looking for a Patek Philippe watch, what should they be looking out for? Specific things that make a Patek Philippe watch unique, or that might make it sort of quite exciting at auction?
Unique, obviously, it's going to be very rare and almost impossible to find, because, if you want to order a unique Patek Philippe watch from Patek Philippe directly, it has to be approved by Patek Philippe direction all the way on top, and you obviously have to be an amazing, tremendous client at Patek Philippe for them to even consider the request. That will really limit the amount of clients who will be able to do that. I think in Patek Philippe, usually people search for rarity, in that case either unique or vintage. And then quality is a second aspect. I think that's always the kind of best recommendation you can give to collectors, is when you're buying a Patek Philippe watch, always try to buy the best possible quality, meaning the better conserved, not over polished, with an original dial. All those are like really the key points when you're looking at collecting in general. And if possible, if there's the original box and the original certificate to go with it, those are always factors that are going to increase the value, probably from 10 to 40% of what it would regularly sell for, depending on what watch you're buying.
Julien, thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you.
That's all we've got time for right now, but Julien will be back with us to discuss the 50th anniversary of the Rolex Daytona, so don't go away.